it makes me a little emotional standing here. No, because I prepared something emotional to say. I didn't. But because every time I face an audience of young people, I think about that young man back in Hangzhou who had absolutely nothing. No money, no connections, no special talent, a face only a mother could love on a good day. And somehow, that boy ended up building something the world had never seen before. How does that happen? I'll tell you exactly how it happens. And more importantly, I'll tell you what almost stopped it from happening. Because that story of what almost didn't happen, that is the story of what almost didn't happen. That is the story you'll actually need to hear today. It wasn't luck. It wasn't that the universe decided to be kind to Jack M.A. one afternoon. It was discipline. It was stubbornness, and it was absolutely refusing to pour my energy into things that were quietly destroying my future without me even noticing. That is what I want to talk to you about today. The things that steal your time, eat your potential, and leave you wondering 10 years from now why you are still standing in the same spot. Because here is the truth nobody likes to say out loud. Most people don't fail because the world was unfair to them. They fail because they spent their best years on the wrong things. And time. I cannot stress this enough. Time is the one thing you cannot manufacture more of. Money you can earn again. Reputation you can rebuild. But time, once it walks out the door, it doesn't even look back. So let's talk. Let's really talk. One, stop complaining right now. Today, I meet young people everywhere I go. Beijing, New York, Lagos, London. And you know what? The most common thing I hear is, the system is broken. The economy doesn't work for us. Nobody is giving us a chance. And look, I understand. The world is not a perfectly fair place. I grew up poor. My father was sick. I applied for 30 jobs when I graduated. And every single one of them said no. Every single one KFC opened in Hangzhou and they were hiring. I applied, 36 people applied. 35 got hired. I was the one who didn't. A police department rejected me. Harvard applied 10 times. 10 times they said, no, thank you, Jack. So believe me, I know what it feels like to look at the world and think it has something personal against you. But here's what I figured out. Complaining is one of the most expensive habits a human being can have. It costs you your energy. It costs you your focus. It costs you the respect of people who could actually help you. And at the end of the day, it changes absolutely nothing about your situation. You know what complaining is like? It is like a rocking chair. You are moving, you're sweating, you feel like something is happening, but you are going nowhere. You are burning calories to stay in the exact same spot. When we were building Alibaba in the early days, we had no office, no funding, no credibility, and honestly no idea what we were doing. People thought we were delusional. Our apartments were our offices. We had team members sleeping on the floor. There were months when I genuinely didn't know how we were going to keep the lights on. No, metaphorically, literally, the electricity bill. Did I sit down and complain about China's internet infrastructure being underdeveloped? Did I organize a meeting to discuss how unfair it was that nobody believed in us? No. I asked one question every morning. What can I actually do about this today? That one shift from why is this happening to me to what can I do about this? That is the difference between people who build things and people who just talk about things. When you find yourself starting to complain, catch yourself, redirect that energy. It is not wasted emotion. It is misplaced fuel. Put it somewhere useful. Stop measuring your life against other people's highlight reel. This one is urgent, especially right now in 2024, when every single person you know is broadcasting the best 5% of their life 24 hours a day. You open your phone and you see your classmate on a yacht in the Mediterranean. Your old colleague just got promoted. Someone you went to school with is ringing a bell at a stock exchange, and you are sitting there eating instant noodles at midnight thinking, what did I do wrong? Let me tell you what is actually happening. You are comparing your behind the scenes footage to everyone else's movie trailer. That is not a fair comparison. That is not even a real comparison. When I was in my 20s, I used to do this constantly. I look around and think, that person is sharper than me. That person has better connections. That person's family already has money and influence. And I'd feel this slow poison spreading through my thinking, making me doubt everything about myself. That kind of thinking doesn't motivate you. It paralyzes you. It turns your focus outward when every ounce of your attention should be pointed inward. Here is the only comparison that matters. Are you better today than you were last month? Did you learn something this week you didn't know last week? Are you moving even slowly? Are you moving? That is it. That is the whole game. The person you are jealous of is not your competition. Your only real competition is the version of you that existed yesterday. Spend your energy closing that gap and stop worrying about what lane everyone else is in. Stop chasing fast results. I know what you want. You want it now? You want to post a success story. Get the followers, make the money, feel the validation. Your generation grew up with same-day delivery. You can order food and it arrives before your hunger fully develops. I understand the expectation. But success doesn't have a same-day delivery option. It never did, and it never will. When Alibaba was in its early years, we didn't make a profit for a long time. No, a little profit. No profit. Zero. We were building infrastructure, building trust, building relationships with merchants who had never sold anything online. There were moments, serious, quiet, frightening moments, when I thought maybe everyone who said this wouldn't work was right, but we were playing a different game. We weren't asking, how do we make money this quarter? We were asking, what would China's commerce look like in 20 years? And how do we position ourselves to be part of that story? Young people who chase quick success usually end up achieving very little, because the moment something gets hard, and it will get hard, they assume they're on the wrong path and they quit. They move to the next shiny thing. Then they quit that and they spend their careers starting things and never finishing anything. The people who build something remarkable are almost never the most talented people in the room. They are the most patient, the most persistent, the ones who kept showing up long after it stopped being exciting and before it started being rewarding in that dark, unglamorous middle. Those are the people who actually make it. Trust the long game. There are no elevators to the top. Take the stairs like everyone else and stop being annoyed. That is taking time. 4, get away from people who make you feel small. I want to be careful here because I am not telling you to surround yourself with people who just agree with everything you say. That is not helpful either. You need people who challenge you, who tell you the truth, who push back when your thinking is lazy. But there's a big difference between someone who challenges you because they believe in your potential and someone who tries to shrink you because they're uncomfortable with your ambition. I know those people. I grew up around some of them. I started Alibaba around some of them. Jack, the internet is a bubble. Jack, American companies will destroy you. Jack, you don't even understand technology. Why are you building a technology company? If I had given those voices the power to make my decisions, you and I would not be having this conversation today. I'd be teaching English in Hangzhou, which is not a bad life. I actually love teaching, but it would not have been the life I was capable of building. Your inner circle sets the ceiling on your thinking. If the people closest to you are consistently negative, consistently skeptical of anything ambitious, consistently comfortable with mediocrity, that will start to feel normal to you. And normal is a very dangerous place to be when you have potential you haven't used yet. Find people who have done hard things. Find people who have failed and recovered. Find people whose energy, when you are around them, makes you feel like more is possible. Those relationships are worth more than any investment you ever make. 5. Do not wait for the perfect moment to start. It doesn't exist. I want to say that again because I really needed to land. The perfect moment doesn't exist. It is not being prepared somewhere, waiting for your calendar to clear up. The best time to start was probably 5 years ago. The second best time is this afternoon. I have met so many brilliant people, genuinely brilliant, talented, well-educated people who are still waiting for more capital, waiting for more experience to improve, waiting for their kids to grow up, waiting for their parents to stop worrying, waiting for a sign from the universe that now is the time. Meanwhile, someone with half their talent and twice their urgency is already 3 years into building the thing. They're still planning. When the idea for Alibaba came to me, I didn't have funding or a business plan that would impress anyone. What I had was 17 friends, a small apartment, and a belief that small businesses in China deserve better access to global markets. That was it. Was it the perfect moment? Absolutely not. Was I fully prepared? No, even close. But I started imperfectly is infinitely better than not started. Every day you delay is a day someone else doesn't delay. Stop planning. Start doing. Adjust as you go. 6, make friends with failure. Seriously, let me ask you something. Why are you so afraid of failing? Really? Think about it. What is the actual worst case scenario? You try something, it doesn't work, and you have to try something else. That is what you are protecting yourself from. I failed my university entrance exam twice. No, once, twice. My first business failed. My second business failed. When I tried to get a job at KFC, I was the only person out of 36 applicants they turned away. I've been rejected by more doors than I can remember. And here is what all that failure gave me. It gave me data. Every failure told me something about the market, about my own weaknesses, about what I needed to learn, about what I needed to change. Failure is expensive feedback, and if you pay attention, it is the best education you will ever receive. The people I worry about are not the ones who fail. The people I worry about are the ones who never try anything risky enough to fail at, because they are quietly guaranteeing themselves a life of average. They are playing defense with their entire existence, and you cannot score from defense. Get out of your comfort zone. Try things you are not sure about. Say yes to opportunities that make you slightly nervous. Take intelligent risks. And when things don't work, and sometimes they won't, sit in the lesson, extract what it is teaching you, and move forward armed with that knowledge. Failure is not a sign that you are not good enough. It is a sign that you are actually playing the game. 7, stop making money the main target. I know how this sounds coming from me. I understand the irony, but I need you to hear this because it is one of the most important things I have learned across 25 years of building businesses. Money is the thing you are chasing. You will never catch it, or worse, you'll catch it and discover it wasn't the thing you actually wanted. I have seen this destroy people who work incredibly hard to get there. When I started Alibaba, I was not thinking about becoming wealthy. I was thinking about a problem. I had seen small factories, small workshops, small family businesses in China, incredible products, incredible craftsmanship, and nobody outside China knew they existed. The global market was closed to them because they had no way to connect, no platform, no voice. That felt wrong. I wanted to fix it. The mission was the thing. The money was a consequence of executing the mission. Well, if you build something that genuinely helps people, if you solve a real problem with real skill and real commitment, the financial reward follows. It almost always follows. But if you start with, how do I extract the most money from this situation? People feel that. They feel it in your product, in your service, in every interaction, and they stop trusting you. Ask yourself a better question than, how do I make money? Ask yourself, what problem do I actually care about solving? What would I work on even if I wasn't getting paid? That intersection between what you care about and what the world needs. That is where the real opportunity lies. 8. Take your health seriously before it takes you seriously. Nobody talks about this enough in business conversations, and I think it is a serious mistake. When you're young, your body feels indestructible. You can sleep 3 hours, skip meals, sit for 12 hours straight, drink too much coffee, ignore every signal. Your body sends you, and you are not superhuman. You are just young, and your body is patient. It will wait. In the years when we were building Alibaba, I worked in a way that I am not proud of from a health standpoint. I ran on adrenaline, on ambition, on the kind of energy that comes from believing you are building something important. I neglected sleep. I neglected food. I neglected exercise. I told myself I'd deal with my health later once things settled down. Things never settle down. That is not how building a company works. And eventually my body sent me a bill for all that neglect, and it was not a small bill. Your health is not a separate department from your career. It is the operating system that everything else runs on. Protect it now while you have the choice to be proactive rather than reactive sleep. Move your body, eat actual food. Go outside sometimes. These are not luxuries. These are the non-negotiable foundation of everything you want to build. Now, never stop learning. The world is not slowing down for anybody. The things that qualify you today might not qualify you. The industry you are entering is going to look different in a decade. The skills that feel advanced right now will feel basic by the time your career is in full swing. The only people who survive that kind of change are the ones who stay curious, the ones who keep updating themselves like software, the ones who read, ask questions, sit with people who know things they don't know, and stay genuinely humble about how much they still have to learn. I was not the impressive one in any room I walked into when I was young. My math was terrible. I had no technical background. My English was something I had to work at for years. I used to follow foreign tourists around Hangzhou as a teenager, offering to be their free tour guide just so I could practice. For 9 years I did that, but I was curious, relentlessly stubbornly curious about people, about business, about how different industries worked, about what was happening in other countries, about why some companies survived and others didn't. That curiosity, not intelligence, not credentials, that was my actual competitive advantage. Wherever you already know, whatever you already know, decide right now that you are a student. Read things outside your industry. Talk to people who think differently from you. Attend things that make you uncomfortable. Learn a language. Learn a new skill. Stay hungry for knowledge. And the world will keep giving you opportunities to use it. 10, give back. This one is not optional. I've saved this one for last because I believe it most deeply. Everything I've talked about today, the discipline, the persistence, the learning, the risk-taking, all of it, if it is only pointing toward your own accumulation, then it is honestly a pretty small life. A comfortable life, maybe. A successful life by certain definitions, but small. The most fulfilling version of success, the kind that gives you energy instead of taking it, the kind that makes the hard days feel worth it. That version always involves other people. It always involves contribution. It always involves asking not just what can I build for myself, but what can I make possible for others. At Alibaba, some of the work I am most proud of has nothing to do with the stock price. It is the millions of small business owners, women entrepreneurs in rural provinces, young people with ideas and no access to capital or customers, who built real livelihoods because we built a platform that gave them a fair shot. That means something to me that goes beyond any number. The more you give, genuinely give, not transactionally, not for the press release, the more meaning your success carries. And meaning is what keeps you going when money and status stop feeling like enough motivation. Find your cause. Find the thing you can contribute to that is bigger than your own ambition. So let me leave you with this. You are sitting here with something extraordinarily precious, time, unspent potential. The ability to still choose what your story becomes. Most people reading the biographies of successful people assume those people were different from them. More talented, more fortunate, more something. But I promise you, most of them were just more deliberate about where they put their energy. Don't waste yours complaining about what you don't have. Don't waste it measuring yourself against people walking a completely different path. Don't waste it waiting, procrastinating, surrounding yourself with people who make your dreams feel naive. Don't chase the wrong targets and sacrifice your health and your growth to get there. Focus work, learn, fail forward, give generously, stay curious, and enjoy the road. Not just the destination, because the road is most of it. The road is where you actually become someone worth becoming. The destination is just the photograph. Thank you.